and welcome to the DSR Daily. I'm David Rothkopf, joined by the much younger Riley Fessler. How are you doing, Riley?
Pretty good, feeling young.
Feeling young, and even younger than Riley. Minna Stein, how are you doing, Minna?
I'm feeling even younger than Riley.
It's just great. Who cares? I'm older, but I am here to provide the dad humor. Okay, Minna, you have the most stories today. So
I do.
Start us off with one.
All right. In a CNN exclusive interview with Dana Bash, Vice President Kamala Harris explained her shifts on fracking and immigration, emphasizing that while her positions have evolved, her core values remain unchanged. She cited new perspectives gained from her vice presidency and highlighted that Biden's administration's climate achievements as a key influence on her current stance. Harris also expressed her intention to appoint a Republican to her cabinet if elected and addressed criticisms of her racial identity as tired. Additionally, she discussed her focus on economic strengthening and affordability while reflecting on the historical significance of her candidacy.
You know, there's a piece that really sums this up extremely well at the Daily Beast. It's called Harris Hit It Out of the Park, CNN Not So Much. And I just received a note from the editor-in-chief of the Daily Beast saying this is the number one piece in the Daily Beast this morning. I would suggest everybody read it. I don't know who wrote it, but it's really good.
Probably someone very wise. And a very giving boss, I bet.
Yeah, very. Oh, yeah.
Someone very handsome.
Don't play that game. No, you're right. I fall for it every time. Riley, you can have the whole weekend off.
Yeah. There we go.
It's a 3-day weekend, but I'm going to give you 2.5 days off.
Your generosity is boundless.
Yeah, thanks a lot. What kind of stories do you got here, Riley?
I have the international angle today. Ukraine reported the first loss of one of its newly acquired U.S.-made F-16 fighter jets.
No, they don't have many. They can't. Okay.
Yeah, which crashed while repelling a significant Russian attack, resulting in the death of the pilot. The crash occurred as the jet was approaching a Russian target, and while the exact cause remains under investigation, it does not appear to have been caused by Russian fire. Ukraine had recently received a small fleet of F-16s, marking a significant development in its ongoing conflict with Russia, although military analysts suggest that the limited number of these advanced jets may not drastically alter the course of the war.
Yeah, especially if it gets more limited like this every day.
Right.
I mean, it's not funny, but on the other hand, they don't have like a lot of them to spare. So this is an unfortunate development, but it does also illustrate the point that a few weapons of any one kind is not what this kind of war is about. It's about having very, very large numbers of troops and a large amount of ammunition, and the ability to project that ammunition with some precision, great distances, which is really to say it's about artillery and troops. It's a lot like, as many people have said, the wars of the 20th century. And it continues as those wars did to drag on. Minna.
New Fox News poll shows Democrats leading by double digits in key Senate races. Carrie Lake is down by 15 points in Arizona, and Jackie Rosen leads by 14 points in Nevada.
I wonder why Carrie Lake is down by 15 points, Minna. What do you think is behind that?
Riley, do you want to
probably because she's a crank?
Thoughts on her?
Yeah, she's a crank. I think you put your finger on it, Riley. She's a terrible candidate.
She also, I hate that filter she uses on all her video too. That's more of a personal beef, but I
think Minna's using that filter this morning.
It is a little brown. I was doing a Carrie Lake impression for this story.
Yeah, it's really. That's an impression I would lay off, to be perfectly honest.
It's one that can stay in the.
I just want to be just like her.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Well, between her and Mark Robinson, the gubernatorial candidate in North Carolina, who is like the worst. I mean, he's kind of like JD Vance to the 10th degree. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, that's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt Trump too. You have bad candidates down ballot, it hurts up ballot. You have a bad candidate up ballot, it hurts down ballot. And you know what else we're going to say about this? 66 days to go. Riley?
Israel has agreed to implement a series of humanitarian pauses in Gaza to allow for the vaccination of approximately 640,000 children against polio, according to the World Health Organization. These pauses will last for 3 consecutive days in each of Gaza's central, southern, and northern regions, during which fighting will cease for several hours each day. The vaccination campaign is a response to the first polio case in Gaza in 25 years, which recently left a 10-month-old partially paralyzed. The WHO aims to achieve 90% vaccination coverage to halt the spread of the virus, with additional vaccination days possible if necessary.
I don't know. There's something just grotesque about this. The brief pauses to stop the spread of a disease that is spreading because this horrific war destroyed all the hospitals, all the doctors. And, Israel is saying, well, we're having humanitarian pauses, which are, roughly long enough for them to reload. It's a horrible situation. And we don't cover Gaza every day, but the people are starving. They have no homes. Lots are dying. Many are being injured. This war is dragging on. And it is the consequence for innocent people that should be at the forefront of our minds. I did note that Kamala Harris was quite good on this during the interview last night, talking about how important it is that those innocent civilians be protected in Gaza, and how important it is to the United States that we pursue a two-state solution that allow the people of Palestinian territories self-determination. She said this while underscoring her commitment to Israel's self-defense. But her statement was much more balanced than you've heard from President Biden, for example, or from Donald Trump. And that was encouraging. Minna?
Taking it to my home state in the chaos that ensues there, Florida Democrats
Wait,
are.
somebody was eaten by an alligator? Because that
Well,
always
every day
happens.
someone's
That's
eaten
just a
by an
Tuesday.
alligator. That's not a story.
That's not. Oh, that's just man bites dog, dog bites man, something like
That's
that.
just
Yeah.
that's just every day.
Have you ever been like where in Florida where you were like out for a walk and then there was an alligator?
Oh yeah, I had an alligator at my school once when I was in middle school.
And it just like walked into the school
Yeah. Yep.
and they got rid of it
They did get rid of it.
because everybody in Florida has an AR-15.
Exactly.
So
A teacher took care of it. No, they called animal control and got rid of it. But if you will remember from that story at Disney where that little kid got into the lake and got eaten by an alligator, the rule in
eaten.
Florida is you cannot get into any body of water because there will always be an alligator in it. So,
Why would you? Alligators. Let me just ask you this, and then we'll continue. But alligators, to me, they're like big dinosaurs. They're like dinosaurs that didn't die, right? They look like
mhm.
dinosaurs. I'm sure they're exactly like dinosaurs. Why would you live in a state where there are a lot of big dinosaurs that could eat you? I mean, I just like, why do you choose to live? Like, there's no dinosaurs in Ohio, Riley, right?
There sure isn't, which is why it's the best state.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. And that's to say nothing of all the pythons
Yeah, that's even worse.
in the Everglades, because people keep letting their pet python. If somebody has a pet python, they got a screw loose, but they then let them go in the Everglades, and they grow to be like 28 feet long, and 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 so there's dinosaurs and there's pythons and there's Republican governors. Like, move to Georgia. It's
That's what
not
I was
that
gonna
far
say.
away.
I feel like the question is less why would you live in a state that has dinosaurs in it? That seems pretty cool to me. The question is why would you live in a state with Rick Scott, Marco Rubio, and Ron DeSantis running the show?
They're dinosaurs in their own way. But I
Exactly.
totally agree. But I've just never understood. I guess this is like grown up in the New York area, but I just never understood. I was in California once, and I was staying with a family, and they had this beautiful house, and I was like, "Oh, this is a lovely house." And they said, "Oh, it's great, and the kids love to play in the yard and stuff, and they just can't play in the yard after 6 p.m." And I was like, "Why can't they play after 6 p.m. in there?" And they said, "Well, mountain lions." And I was like, "There are lions in your backyard?" You know, like, why do you choose, like, oh yeah, that's a great place for my kids to play except for the lions? I just don't, it just doesn't make any sense to me. uh
Uh,
anyway, I'm sorry, I distracted from your story.
it's okay. Florida Democrats argue that Republicans' growing voter registration advantage is misleading and a result of targeted voter suppression tactics. Despite a general decrease in registration amongst all parties, Republicans have slightly outpaced Democrats in new voter registration, with over 169,000 new GOP votes registered from January to July. Democrats claim recent changes in state laws, including stricter registration requirements and new penalties for third party registration groups, disproportionately impact their ability to register new voters. Additionally, Democrats assert that reported numbers fail to account for inactive voters who remain eligible to vote, a situation exacerbated by laws that label many Democrats as inactive due to low turnout in 2022.
um I don't know, it sounds like the Republicans are cheating. That's what I get.
Yeah.
Is that the punchline there? They're
Yes,
cheating.
Republicans are cheating.
Yeah, okay. That could have been a lot shorter as the story goes. They would just say the Republicans are cheating. There's a lot of there's a lot of that going out there, and if you're going to vote, and you are going to vote, if you're listening to this, you're going to vote. If you're going to vote, make sure you're registered wherever you are. If there's a problem, make sure you discover it now. Get it fixed. Um, this is the time, not in the future. We're only like 2.5 weeks away from the first early balloting of this election. So it's starting. It's starting. It's right around the corner. We will decide whether we're a democracy or not, whether we have fundamental freedoms like we always thought we did, like we stand with our allies or we stand with Russia. That all is being decided in 9 weeks. Um, so that's something for you to think about over the long weekend while you're like barbecuing and going, oh, life's great. It won't be if you don't vote, and you can't vote if you don't register. So go, not only look into it for yourself, look into it for your family, look into it for your neighbors, look into it for elderly folks who can't easily deal with these things. Because turning out, voting, and having your vote count is super important this year. Um,
I thought
there,
the story was
that's what we'll leave you
particularly
with.
interesting because I remain skeptical that Republicans are going to easily win Florida. I think they're going to
Well, they
win.
may not.
I don't think it's
There
going to
are
be
some
easy,
people.
though.
Well, I mean, I certainly hope they don't. They have Rick Scott is another super terrible candidate, and the governor is just a mess. The fact that we even thought of him as like a contender for the presidency just a few short months ago, and when I say short, that's not a reference to him, but it uh, is it's kind of sad. Sooner or later, Florida is going to flip. Texas is going to flip. This is in the cards. The old sort of solid South that the Republicans have had is going to go away. um, which is why you have Vice President Harris and Governor Walz in southern Georgia the past couple of days, because they think that's a place where that could happen. So we'll all get to mull this over the weekend. It's Labor Day weekend. Enjoy it. Have a good break. There will not be a DSR Daily on Monday in honor of Labor Day. But starting on Tuesday, we'll have a full schedule ramped up. A lot of exciting stuff coming for the election. A lot of interesting new twists and turns that we've got for you as our audience, because we love you and we want you to stay interested and informed. So join us again here on Tuesday. And in the interim, have a good weekend. Riley, have a good Labor Day weekend. Minna, have a good Labor Day weekend. Bye-bye, everybody.